After the Italian GP, Lewis Hamilton sent the entire paddock into a frenzy, silencing Nico Rosberg's Arrogance with speechless telemetry data. It wasn't just a result on paper. It was tangible evidence that Hamilton had closed the performance gap and proven that he was still one of the best on the grid. This surprising fact is now a hot topic in the Ferrari paddock and the international media. Could this be the beginning of Hamilton's major comeback and a world title challenge this season? Let's discuss it. The Monza circuit once again became a stage for drama, and this time, Lewis Hamilton was in the spotlight. His Ferrari SF25 wobbled under braking at the Variante della Roggia, leaving spectators breathless. Hamilton only finished sixth, but the telemetry data told a different story, one that left even his longtime rival and biggest critic, Nico Rosberg, speechless. What happened at Monza wasn't just a recovery drive from 10th place. It was the clearest evidence yet that Hamilton and Ferrari are starting to speak the same language. The data from Sector 3 was proof. Hamilton was 0.2 seconds faster through Ascari, breaking a barrier that Ferrari's simulations had deemed impossible. Telemetry never lies. Hamilton's confidence had returned. His race at Monza didn't start with triumph, but with risk. The penalty that sent him to 10th place meant his chances were slim. Ferrari warned that overtaking on medium tyres would be difficult, and that traffic could damage tyre life before the pit window opened. However, Hamilton turned that prediction upside down. By the second corner, he had already moved up 2 positions. His racing rhythm was settling in. Every overtake was measured, every defence brilliant. At Lesmo, he was travelling 1 km per h faster than Carlos Sainz, who was on the same tyres. This small detail was a significant sign that confidence in the SF25 was returning. This confidence wasn't evident in Hungary or Spa. At Monza, however, everything was different. Hamilton was no longer taming his car. He was controlling it with confidence. Lap-by-lap data confirmed this. By lap 12, Hamilton was averaging 0.3 seconds faster than Leclerc, despite having to navigate heavy traffic. The lift and coast was shorter, the brake trail was sharper, and the energy recovery efficiency at Ascari was the best of the season. Ferrari knew that this was more than just surviving a penalty. This was Hamilton's moment to reset his relationship with the SF25. The first sign that Hamilton was different came from the radio, not the lap times. Throughout the 2025 season, Hamilton's communications with the team often sounded frustrated and complaining. At Monza, that tone was gone. He sounded calm, analytical, and confident. When Ferrari failed to undercut George Russell, Hamilton didn't get angry. He simply said, "The pace is there. We just need to be sharper next time." For long-time Hamilton fans, this was an important sign. It wasn't the language of blame, it was the language of a leader. For Ferrari, which had been plagued by uncertainty for years, this message was a breath of fresh air. Off the track, Hamilton's lap time further confirmed his status. His outlap after his pit stop was only 0.1 seconds slower than Russell's, despite heavier traffic. Ferrari analysed the data sector by sector and found an undeniable pattern. At Ascari, Hamilton ran 0.2 seconds faster consistently, while maintaining optimal rear tyre condition, as if the car and driver were in perfect harmony. The data showed a much smoother brake release than in Spa, where he lost 0.3 seconds due to instability upon entering corner. Now, every steering and accelerator input seemed synchronised, a sign that Hamilton was beginning to find his sweet spot on the SF25. Tyre management was also a major focus. Hamilton's left front tyre degradation was recorded at 3% lower than in a previous similar stint, equivalent to maintaining 1.5 seconds of performance for the full 30 laps. In a tight race like Monza, such a small margin can be decisive, the difference between a podium finish and finishing just behind his main rival. This data shows that Hamilton can now keep his tyres in their optimal performance window for longer. This is something that Ferrari had often struggled with earlier in the season. ERS management also showed significant improvement. Ferrari's post-race analysis revealed that Hamilton had an additional push lap compared to Leclerc. This is something that was rarely seen at the beginning of the season and is indicative of significantly better energy efficiency. This hidden margin enabled Hamilton to put maximum pressure on Sainz before the pit stops, forcing his rivals to undercut early and creating opportunities for Ferrari to set the pace. The combination of low tyre degradation and precise energy distribution made Hamilton appear much more confident, as if he were truly one with the SF75. Usually, Nico Rosberg doesn't miss an opportunity to criticise Hamilton, whether it's flawed strategy, frustrated body language, or overly aggressive braking. Rosberg is known as a sharp analyst with a critical perspective. But this time, he admitted that there was nothing to criticise, not even a small flaw. Rosberg was most shaken not just by the P6 finish itself, but by the way Hamilton achieved it, without panic or rushing, with a rhythm that seemed perfectly sculpted. Everything seemed under control, as if Hamilton and Ferrari were one entity. According to Rosberg, Hamilton thrived under pressure instead of being crushed by it, a quality only true champions possess. Rosberg compared the moment to Nigel Mansell's legendary performance at Silverstone in the 1990s, when the crowd's cheers lifted the driver above his car's limits. Rosberg believes the Monza atmosphere did the same for Hamilton, giving him extra energy at every turn. For Rosberg, a notoriously critical observer who rarely gives credit, this was a major revelation. Hamilton had found common ground with the Tifosi. When Rosberg chooses to remain silent, it's a sign that his opponent's performance is undeniable. Monza may have only earned Hamilton 8 points, but his impact was far greater than what the standings showed. For the first time since joining Ferrari, he narrowed the performance gap with Charles Leclerc to just 0.07 seconds in qualifying, an almost impossible feat considering Leclerc's reputation as Ferrari's single-lap king. Now, race strategy, pit stops, and the timing of undercuts will determine who becomes Ferrari's lead driver in the latter part of the season, not just pure speed. This creates a new dynamic at Maranello. Two drivers with nearly identical speeds, both demanding strategic priority and both with strong reasons to be heard. Hamilton, with his 7 world titles and experience establishing Mercedes' era of dominance, carries a prestige Ferrari engineers find difficult to ignore. Leclerc, on the other hand, is Ferrari's crown prince and the symbol of their long-term project. Nico Rosberg noted that this was the moment when Hamilton began shaping Ferrari to his image and style, much as he did at Mercedes a decade ago. If this trend continues through Suzuka and Austin, the battle for second place in the Constructors' Championship could change dramatically. Not only will McLaren and Mercedes have to adjust their strategies, but they will also have to face a Ferrari with 2 equally hungry drivers. Could this be the beginning of the second chapter of Hamilton's career? Let us know your thoughts below.